So here's a list of the top 20 things I wish I knew in my 20s when buying my first homes. So here we go. Your first house isn't your forever home. And let me repeat that because so many of us want to buy homes like our parents or grandparents have. But the first house doesn't need to be your forever home. In fact, it could be the best investment you ever make. And we'll get to that in a minute. Number two. Get pre-approved first. I know. We're all watching these crazy videos online, and they always show the cute houses and all this fun stuff. No, no, no. You got to do the least sexy thing, which is getting pre-approved. I know it sucks, but I'll tell you something. It's going to save you a lot of headache and a lot of heartache, right? Hidden costs add up. So it's not just buying a house. You're going to have to pay for your down payment, taxes, insurance, prepaids, escrow. Sometimes there's some HOA fees that we don't know about. This is the reason why we need to work with great people that have a lot of experience. Yes, we can use a lot of AI and we can Google search a lot of things too, but it's great to have that individual that can see those blindside things and ask the questions that we don't know to ask yet, right? Bigger homes aren't better. Now, I live in a big house now. It is a whipping to maintain, right? Your first homes, I would say smaller, less is more a lot of times, less to repair, less to fix up, less to maintain. Yes, there are a lot of costs when owning a home, but it's worth it. You'll see here in a minute. Interest rates do matter, sometimes more, sometimes less than home prices. Now, we're all programmed by big banks to just ask, what's the rate? But there's so many more things that flow into the rate and how it's calculated and the terms and the costs. So you need to team up with a great finance professional to know those things upfront, somebody that you know, like, and trust. So, credit score is king. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I got a new car, and they said my credit was great. They have a completely different scoring model for credit cards, student loans, car loans, and of course, your favorite, home loans. So, with those different scoring models, you're going to maybe have a great score on one and maybe not such a great score on the other, how they're calculated. More about that, but credit score is absolutely king. When you're buying your first house, another thing is don't skip the home inspection. I know so many of us are like, man, that's an extra, I don't know, $500. And we work with a lot of great inspectors, and they're worth the weight in gold because we're making an investment that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. An extra five, six, $700 is not a lot of money, right? All right, let's keep going. Location overlooks. So we all love to buy that house that looks pretty because we watch HGTV, but location, 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 like it's been said 100 times before. Because when you're in your 20s, this is a house that, even if you don't live in it for more than a few years, this is a house that you could hold on to indefinitely. And having the right location, maybe there's a new job plant or like a new manufacturing plant or something that's coming in to that neighborhood, and it's not going to be fully built out for 10 years. That means the value of your home could skyrocket. Location, it makes a huge difference. Always think, and that brings us to the next point, always think about resale value. I know a couple of homes that I bought personally. I did not think about that. They were pretty homes. I figured, hey, I like it. It's a great area for the moment, but it wasn't a good long-term investment. And I want to save you that same heartache, right? So always think about the resale value. Mortgage payment is everything, right? So that's part of the pre-qualification process. You know your mortgage payment, but always overestimate it a little bit because I'll tell you something, there's a lot of amateurs in this business, in the mortgage business, right? And they don't always give you the full picture. And sometimes things are a little bit too shiny. And you always want to take the most financially conservative approach absolutely possible. Buying a home below your budget is smart. And I know a lot of people in their 20s, they want to get up to a 50 or 60% debt to income ratio. That is insane. Please don't do that. And a lot of people are going to push you towards it because why? The real estate agent gets paid more on commission. The lender gets paid more on commission. The builder, if you're buying it, gets paid more because you're buying the more expensive home. Please don't do that, right? Please don't go more than 30% over your debt to income. If you don't know how to calculate that, watch one of our other videos, right? But don't go over 30% for your first home. Please trust me. You'll thank me later when you're an old dude like me. All right, so let's keep going through this, right? You don't need 20% down. That was like gr- my grandparents. You're like great grandparents, right? Like if you're in your 20s, you probably don't want to put hardly anything down, right? You're going to want that money for your future. You might have debts that you're paying off or student loans that you're paying off. Don't waste your money with the large down payments on a house. There's tons of programs, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, that'll help you with grants and down payment assistance. And there's so much opportunity out there. Don't save up 20%. It's a waste of your time. Emergency fund is a must. So don't skip on that either, right? You have to have at least 6 months of living expenses in there. So even if we do a program that's 100% financing and you can move into your house with little to no money out of pocket, you still want to have at least 6 months of living expenses in the bank. So start living on ramen noodles today. All right. Emergency funds lead to understanding the market, right? And so when I say understand the market, you always hear, "Hey, the home prices went up, the home prices dropped, the home prices went up." You only lose money when you sell. Let me repeat that. You only lose money when you sell. So you can always turn real estate into a long-term investment. More on that in a different video. So, negotiate everything. Like so many times people just buy a house and they think it's like, going down to the store and buying your favorite pair of jeans. Not like that at all. You can negotiate everything from the lender cost to the realtor cost to the seller to you name it, insurance, you name it. You can negotiate pretty much anything on a house. But here's a must negotiate: always your property taxes. When you buy that home, you need to homestead it and then negotiate your property taxes because that will whip you. It's one of those hidden costs that we talked about earlier, right? We want to maximize your investment. Don't, it's like all things in life. The next point is don't fall in love too fast. It's like falling in love with your sweetheart, right? You don't want that to happen too fast, right? That ends up in a lot of heartbreak. But same thing applies to real estate. Don't fall in love with the home too fast. Trust me, there's a lot of fish in the sea. There's a lot of homes to choose from. Find that one that makes great economic sense and it's a little bit of an emotional buy, right? And you'll thank me later. Remember, we're not looking for our forever home. We're looking for a great investment, a wise decision to make, way better than renting. Anyways, new construction is not always better, especially in this day and age. Like, literally, there's a top builder that's getting sued right now because they built such a bad house. And this is one of the top building companies in the entire US built such a bad house it's uninhabitable, right? And this is a trend. Builders are trying to maximize profits because these big corporate conglomerates are trying to, cut corners, and that can impact you. The homes that I've always bought, the homes that I bought in my 20s were older homes. I liked them because they were really sturdily built and very easy to rehab. I bought a lot of ugly houses, but I made a good amount of money off of them. Anyways, let's keep going. Good real estate agent, good lender are imperatively important. At the time that I'm shooting this video, NAR, the National Association of Realtors, said that three-quarters of the realtors didn't even sell a house last year. Isn't that crazy? Right? So, do you want somebody that's part time that maybe has been in real estate for 30 years and they're as old as Moses? Or do you want somebody that's actually in the weeds with you, looking at homes, doing a lot of transactions, knowing their stuff, right? Do you want a lender that has been in the business since the dinosaurs roamed the earth? Or do you want somebody who actually knows what they're doing? Somebody that can teach you, give you good advice, and maybe help you retire in the next 20 years. I'm telling you, having a good team is worth their weight in gold. Let's keep going. Next point is don't drain your savings account for your new home. So many of us, and this is more than just a down payment, so many of us are like, hey, I got 100% financing. I have little money out of pocket. I've got my 6 months of emergency fund. Isn't that awesome? But I'm going to go up to the furniture store and buy some furniture from a new house. Or I'm going to go to the car dealership and buy a fancy new car to go with my new house. Please don't do that. Don't do that at all, right? I'm telling you, keep your emergency fund. There will always be unexpected things that pop up when you first buy a house. And it might be something like, oh my gosh, a new window came up on an inspection. Or it might be fun stuff. Like you might see the back room of your house and think, hey, I could work from home. I'm going to turn this into an art studio, right? Don't go into debt for that. You'll have these little reserves of funds to help with those things. So don't drain out the funds, right? And last, as we walk away from this video, I want to give you the last point is don't be afraid to walk away. So many homes that I've almost fallen in love with. Remember, we don't fall in love with homes, right? And that I really like to. I got into bidding wars with other investors, other buyers, and I just had to walk away. It's heartbreaking at the moment, just like walking away from a love life, right? Heartbreaking at the moment, but you know what? It's always God's plan to reward you with something bigger and better. Because you know what? I walked away from my house. It turned out to be a complete disaster. And because I walked away from that property, I had the money to buy a different property that ended up making six figures on. And a lot of you guys are watching this video and you're thinking, man, I just want to make six figures, let alone figures on one house flip, right? So we want to be cognizant of, hey, it's okay to walk away. Even if you're a little bit invested into something, if something goes sideways, don't force it. Buying a house is like a great relationship. You shouldn't have to force it, right? It should line up, it should make sense. It's going to be a lot of work. Just like all relationships, whether it's friends or romantic relationships or work relationships, homes are no different. They're always going to be work, but the rewards are huge. Way better than burning money away renting a place and when you could be the landlord collecting the rents. Anyways, I digress. Hopefully you like this video. Stay tuned for more. See you soon.